Okay. What's going on, everybody? My name is Mangg. And today we're going to be playing a spooky game. The Excavation of Hobbs Barrow. Every October, I tend to like to play, or do a let's play of like one horror-ish game. Generally, I do like the biggest horror release of the year. But I don't really know. I don't really know what that is this year. I mean, what is the big horror game of the year? If we just look over like the popular titles in the horror section, Dead by Daylight, of course. Stray is apparently under the horror category. I'm not sure why. Scorn, but this didn't actually come out yet, did it? Oh, Scorn comes out in 3 days. Okay, that probably would have been another interesting one to do. Oh well, I already started this video. We're here. What else would have been? I know the Mortuary Assistant. A lot of like VTubers and stuff have been playing, and it does look pretty scary. But you know, it's not really something I would enjoy. It would just be purely for the sake of your entertainment. But anyways, we're going to be doing the Excavation of Hobbs Barrow, which is probably not going to be played on too many channels. It's a folk horror narrative-driven adventure. So there's going to be a lot of dialogue. It's point-and-click kind of stuff. It's more about the story and the narrative and the creeping horror than any sort of like running and screaming sort of thing. It's a folk horror, which I don't know if that has any sort of like established definition. It does. It has its own Wikipedia page. Subgenre of horror film for cinema or television that uses elements of folklore to invoke fear in its audience. Typical elements include a rural setting and themes of isolation, religion, the power of nature, and the potential darkness of rural landscapes. Yeah, so I tend to like folk horror. My favorite horror film of all time would be a folk horror, and that's The Witch. There tends to just be good things in that. I mean, Midsummer was folk horror. The Wicker Man. It's an interesting, you know, as someone that didn't grow up in any sort of rural setting or anything, it has its own, and as someone that does suffer from a bit of agoraphobia and like fear of wide open outdoor spaces, yeah, there is something always kind of unsettling to me about rural horror like that. So, yeah, that's the Excavation of Hobbs Barrow. And so I think let's just dive in. It's not going to be too long. I think they say like 5 hours or so. And we're already going. We're already pointing and clicking.
Ah, Miss Bateman. Welcome back to Ticehurst House. It's been quite some time. Terrible weather this evening, is it not? Nurse Blaketon has had enough of me smoking inside. Makes her cough, you see. A bit of rain won't kill me, will it? You mustn't be interested in me nattering on. Give my regards to your father. Nurse Blaketon is preparing his supper. You look pale, Miss Bateman. Do head inside. You'll catch your death out here.
Okay.
Dearest Mother, I hope this letter will reach you. I have spent these past years in torment, trying to piece together what remains of fractured memories. What I am about to recount to you will seem beyond comprehension, but I beg for your patience. I will endeavour to explain the events that led me to Ticehurst House that night. As far as I can recall, this whole wretched story started with the receipt of a letter from a Mr. Leonard Shoulder. The letter brought me to the isolated village of Bewley, deep in the moors. No station master in sight. I hope the village isn't too far away. I can't recall our exact meeting place. Mr. Shoulder mentioned it in his letter.
Left click to walk, interact. Right click to examine. Top of the screen. Left click and okay. Inventory. Double click on an exit to teleport directly to it. All right. Auto save. Map when available. Quick save. Uh-oh. I wonder if there's one of those point and clicks where you can die.
Hello there. The post looks unattended. Hello? A door of fine construction.
Brilliant.
I ought to read Mr. Shoulder's letter again. I can't recall the name of our meeting place.
All right. We got letters, a handkerchief, and some money. Dear Miss Bateman, I write this letter in the hope of piquing your curiosity. I read about your expertise in barrows, and if I understand correctly, you are writing a book on them and the treasures they contain. I live in the village of Bewley, where a most special barrow can be found on the outskirts. It is rectangular in form and is certainly tall enough to stand up in. The place is steeped in local legend, and there is rumor of secrets to be found deep within. I hope you will not misunderstand me and find this letter intrusive. If you wish to visit Bewley and excavate the barrow, I will be pleased to be your guide. Please send your response to the Plough and Furrow Inn, Bewley. I shall await your letter. Yours respectfully, Mr. Leonard Shoulder. Dear Miss Bateman, marvelous news! I shall meet you at 8 o'clock in the evening on the 14th of this new month at the Plough and Furrow Inn, Bewley. The inn has fine rooms which you will find adequate for your short stay. When we meet, I shall tell you more of the circumstances surrounding the site, which is referred to locally as Hobbs Barrow. It is not located on my own land, but we will have no issue gaining permission to excavate. I wish you a safe journey.
I must make my way to the Plough and Furrow Inn. The tracks look quite untarnished. I don't think many trains come through here. I swear she was not standing there a moment ago.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
people can move. Plough and Furrow Inn.
I'm looking for the Plough and Furrow Inn. Do you know where I can find it?
Aye, young lady. Leave the station and follow the dry stone wall for around half a mile. You'll come to Bewley. Go straight ahead and you'll find the market square. The inn is t'other side at square.
Thank you very much. What can you tell me about Bewley?
Oh, It used to be a thriving village. Not so much now. I don't spend much time there these days.
Are you local?
Ah, yes, a local I am. But I don't live in the village.
Where are you travelling to today?
That would be none of your business, young lady.
Quite. Apologies. I wish you a pleasant journey.
All right.
What brings you to Bewley?
I beg your pardon?
What brings you to Bewley, miss?
Tell the truth. I have nothing to hide or lie because she looks superstitious. Tell the truth.
I'm here to visit a local landmark, Hobbs Barrow.
Hobbs Barrow? Well, I can't say I've heard of it. For what reason?
I wish to excavate it.
Grave robber, are you?
Not at all. I merely have an interest in antiquities.
Not much to be found in Bewley, if you ask me. You're better off waiting for the next train back to the city.
I'll take my chances.
Can't say I didn't warn you.
That was odd.
Okay, I don't know if I was meant to go this way.
A humble dwelling. A humble dwelling.
Yep. Okay, definitely creepy place. Well, we found the inn.
Plough and furrow. I have a bit of time before Mr. Shoulder arrives. I should inquire about a room. The man looks thoroughly inebriated.
Hello there. What's the young lady doing out alone in this sodden weather?
I'm heading to the Plough and Furrow.
Heading to the Plough and Furrow.
Bloody good pub, that. It has the finest ales in the whole county. Oh, I'll take you there if you like.
I believe we are standing directly in front of it.
Oh, so we are. Please,
Yes.
give us a kiss now, won't you?
Humor him, it usually works with men. Slap him, I have no time for this. Deflect question, perhaps he's married. Okay.
Wouldn't your wife disapprove?
My wife? Bloody hell, my wife! My tea'll be on the table at this hour, and if I don't get back, she'll be roaring. Until we meet again.
Well, that was lucky.
What a buffoon. I should speak to the innkeeper about a room. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, lass. How can I help you?
A room?
I am in need of a room for the night.
Aye, we aren't short of those. One night, is it?
I shall need at least 2 nights, maybe more.
Aye, 'tis not a problem. 3 shilling per night. That includes your dinner and tea.
A fair price.
I'll need that payment up front for the 2 nights.
You got it.
This is payment for the room.
Thank you. Can I ask for your name, lass?
Thomasina Bateman.
And will Mr. Bateman be staying with us tonight?
No, I am not wed. My assistant is arriving in Bewley tomorrow.
Your assistant, you say? Will you be needing another room?
Please.
I'll keep a room spare. It's not quite as nice as yours, I'm afraid.
Not a problem, sir. I'm sure it will be adequate. Kenneth is a man of inexpensive taste.
Here's your key. Just go through the door to the right of the bar, then up the stairs. Room number 2.
Thank you.
Can I help you with your luggage?
No, thank you, sir. I can manage. I should go upstairs and freshen up before Mr. Shoulder arrives.
Thomasina.
This shall do nicely. Time to change into something more comfortable.
proper adventuring clothes.
I've hung my dress inside. Aside from that, the wardrobe is empty. A jug of water for drinking or washing. A sturdy-looking thing, useful to many a weary traveller. A decrepit set of drawers. Ah, complementary matches. Useful.
Will be
Evening
useful.
light shall be provided by this solitary candlestick. Ah, complementary matches. Useful. There's only one match left, though. As the only light source in the room, I ought to leave this here. Jammed shut. The wood must have warped over the years. I don't want to take the painting with me. A painting of surprising quality. It portrays a rocky outcrop overlooking a vast moor, perhaps a local landmark.
Perhaps.
I don't wish to take it. A decorative plate depicting a goat.
Goat.
I've stored my case in there, a box within a box. I do feel tired after the trip, but my meeting with Mr. Shoulder must take priority. This may come in handy.
She takes the whole jug of water. Where is she gonna store it?
Miss Bateman, you've transformed.
I feel far more comfortable in my outdoor clothing.
You look like one of those explorers you see in the newspaper.
I guess you could call me an explorer of sorts.
I'm Stanley. Stanley Kemp.
A pleasure to meet you, Stanley.
And tell me, I trust your room is adequate.
Most adequate.
Excellent.
Leonard Shoulder.
I'm looking for a man named Leonard Shoulder.
Aye, I know the man.
I'm to meet him here tonight.
Can I get you something to drink while you wait?
Not yet, thank you. What can you tell me about Mr. Shoulder?
Aye, he's a quiet fellow. He only comes here to check his post.
Yes, I've been corresponding with him using this address.
Have you now? You found yourself an admirer.
Not quite.
What business do you have with old Leonard then?
Tell the truth.
Well, if you must know, I am what some people call a barrow digger.
A what?
A barrow digger.
What in God's name is that?
Are you familiar with tumuli?
Afraid not.
Barrow is another word for tumulus, or tumuli in the plural. A profoundly interesting subject.
You've lost me.
I excavate ancient burial sites looking for relics. A barrow is traditionally a circular mound of raised earth enclosing a burial chamber.
Oh, aye? You're a grave robber.
I am no such thing.
Don't worry, lass. I've met all sorts in here over the years. I won't tell anyone.
I assure you, my goal is more noble than petty grave robbery.
What sort of relics do you find then? Gold? Silver? Bones?
Well, rarely gold or silver, but treasures certainly. Ancient pottery is the most common find. I've been excavating barrows all over the country. I'm documenting my findings in preparation for my book. It shall be called Vestiges of the Antiquities in Rural England.
Oh, aye. Very interesting. But what does old Leonard have to do with this?
He sent me a letter in which he told me about an unusual barrow in Bewley, a site called Hobbs Barrow. I'm meeting him here this evening to find out more.
I've lived here nigh on my whole life, and I've heard nowt about a Hobbs Barrow.
That's peculiar.
What can you tell me about Bewley?
Aye, it's a quiet place. People keep to themselves, work hard.
I look forward to exploring the village tomorrow.
There's not a lot to see, lass. But St. Edmund's Church is a fine building, worth a visit.
Are you sure you've never heard of Hobbs Barrow?
Not in my life, lass, but I'll tell you something. The moors stretch further than the eyes can see once you leave this village. There's no doubt many a discovery to be made.
Mr. Shoulder said the barrow is well known locally, a place of legend.
I'm afraid you're going to have to speak to him about it. Why are you interested in digging around in the dirt, lass? Haven't you better things to do with your time?
I enjoy nothing more than the thrill of discovery, uncovering the past and piecing together our history. I inherited this passion from my father.
Oh, a barrow digger too, eh?
Indeed. He would take me with him on excavations as a child.
Does he still come with you now, on your own adventures?
I'm afraid my father's been bedbound by illness for many years.
Oh, I am sorry to hear that, lass.
Thank you, Mr. Kemp. He is well looked after at a private hospital.
She's pretty much Lara Croft.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Kemp.
Well, I've been the proprietor of this inn for the last 16 years. I worked as a drover all over the country in my younger days. Saved up my coin and bought this place.
It's a fine inn.
Thank you. I often run short of ale, but my rooms are rarely full. We don't get many outsiders wanting to stay overnight here in Bewley.
Thanks for your time.
As you were.
Good day, sir.
Okay.
Good afternoon, sir.
Note for you here.
I beg your pardon?
I said there's note for you here, lass. Be on your way.
Charming. Hello, sir.
What?
I'm waiting here for a man named Leonard Shoulder. Do you know him?
I don't. Do you, love?
Never heard of him.
There you have it. Now clear off.
Wow.
Hello, sir.
Right,
Do you know a Mr. Leonard Shoulder?
you're not local. You've come on that bloody train, haven't you? Bewley's going to dogs.
Okay.
My name is Thomasina Bateman, and you are...
None of your business, lass. Where's your husband?
None of your business, sir.
Ah! You're brave coming in here, all on your own.
I'm a grown woman.
I'm Cyril.
It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Cyril. Do you know Mr. Shoulder?
That be none of your business, lass. I don't come to your city poking around asking questions, do I? Man just wants to enjoy his ale in peace.
Oh, let's keep bugging him.
I take it you are not enamored with the railway station.
Bewley's gonna be swarming with outsiders, like you. We don't want you coming here. It's as simple as that, lass.
Why not?
This is our town, our land.
I assure you, I am not here to cause trouble.
We'll see about that, won't we?
What can you tell me about Bewley?
We're a proud community. I've lived here my whole life. Not much here to interest folks like you.
Folks like me.
Aye.
Bye for now.
Ta-ra, lass.
Mr. Shoulder should really be here by now. I'll sit down and wait.
He's gonna have some explaining to do.
Where on earth is he? What a waste of time this is turning out to be.
Uh-oh.
Evening there, miss.
Not you again.
I just wanted to apologise for earlier. I got home, had my tea, but it gave me an aching belly.
How so?
I felt bad for how I spoke to you. I'm sorry. The drink gets a hold of me sometimes.
Let's start again, shall we?
My name is Arthur Tillett.
Thomasina Bateman.
What brings you to Bewley, anyway?
I'm here to meet someone, but he has not arrived.
His loss, if you ask me.
Perhaps you know the gentleman, Mr. Leonard Shoulder.
Oh, I know Mr. Shoulder all right. If I may be so bold as to say, he's a bit long in the tooth for you.
The relationship is not what you're implying. I've never met him. In fact, I know very little about him at all.
Get me an ale and I'll tell you all about the old sod.
Boy. Alright, let's do it.
One ale, coming right up.
Thank you very much, Miss Bateman. Then I'll tell you all about old Leonard Shoulder.
How can I help you?
A tankard of your finest ale, Mr. Kemp.
There we are. 2 pence, please.
Thank you. This was the last of my money, but Kenneth will be here tomorrow with more funds.
Okay. I mean, I don't know what else you were gonna buy with 2 pence.
Please, Miss Bateman, an ale to wet me whistle. Then I'll tell you all about old Leonard.
Yeah. Here's your... I can give him the jug of water instead.
Here you are, Arthur. I think you should drink this.
Water? Are you mad, girl? I want a drink. Please.
Alright.
Here you are, Arthur.
Thanking you. Oh, that hits the spot, that does, lass. Now then. Old Len. Leonard Shaw.
Arthur? Mr. Tillett? Oh, for heaven's sake. The man is in a drunken stupor.
Great.
Mr. Tillett? He's not dead, just very drunk. I would still like to hear what he has to say about Mr. Shoulder. I do not need to use the lavatory. I have nothing else to ask for the time being. I should wait here for Mr. Shoulder.
Should I? I mean, I don't know what else.
I'm tired after the
Yeah, there's nothing else to do. You can talk to this grumpy guy.
And Mr. Leonard Shoulder.
You ought to be careful asking too many questions round here. Be on your way.
Oh, I don't mean to...
Listen to me, will you? Be on your way.
Good day, sir. It's a crudely painted scene that appears to be of a biblical nature. A decorative plate. This one depicts a bull. A decorative plate depicting a serpent. The prices are cheap here. I'm not hungry at the moment. Pulling the bell would be quite unbecoming of me.
Yeah.
The last orders bell. Saviour of many a life. A pixie-faced peasant boy, painted in a naive style. The painting depicts a rocky-edged lake. A small bronze plate states the name Lake Cubilius. A lovely place to warm oneself. The crackling fireplace is more welcoming than the facial expressions of the locals. A majestic animal, cut down in his prime. The poor thing. I can't think of anything else to talk about right now.
Okay.
After one drink too many, Arthur Tillett has passed out.
I don't know.
I've stored my I've hung aside. I don't wish to I don't want. I do. No doubt the.
Oh, I guess we could dump the water on him. It's always what you do with drunkards, right? Yeah.
Oh, what the hell were that for?
You passed out, Mr. Tillett.
Oh, sorry, lass. Where were I? Leonard Shoulder. Hold on another minute. I'm making for a piss.
This man is unbelievable. It feels like an hour has passed. Perhaps I should go in there and check on him.
Uh-oh. Anything could happen.
Miss Bateman? My apologies. The ladies are closed due to faulty plumbing. You'll have to use the gents.
Lovely. Mr. Tillett,
This doesn't sound or look good.
the mirror is coated in a thick layer of grime. The mirror is summer. Some excavations are best left to others. The water looks highly questionable. I ought to keep my hands out of it. It looks like the towel has not been washed in months. It looks like the water... the jug... there's no fresh water in... These look modern. I'm surprised. I would rather not get any closer. The smell of urine is nauseating.
Okay.
Is Mr. Tillett in there? Mr. Tillett? Mr. Tillett, are you in there?
No.
Mr. Tillett, are you in there? Well, you're not Mr. Tillett.
Not a bad name for a cat.
The mangy thing is fast asleep. I'd rather not touch it. The thing stinks to high heaven. I can see it's still raining out there. I can't reach the window from down here. The door opens a crack, but appears to be blocked from the other side. I think I can hear someone moving around. Mr. Tillett? Arthur, are you out there? Judging from the draft coming from below, this door must lead outside. I should investigate further.
I don't think my room...
The door does not appear to have a locking mechanism.
Okay.
The door is blocked from the...
Alright, let's go out. Pretty creepy stuff, huh? Ho.
Excuse me, sir. Sir?
I guess we're following this guy, although I don't know why.
The old man has disappeared into the darkness. I'd best turn back to the inn. I don't wish to...
No.
A pearly white gent's glove. It's certainly unlike anything Mr. Tillett was wearing.
We'll take it.
Seems rather out of place here. Peculiar. Someone has wedged the door shut. Mr. Tillett. Why would he have done that? Did Mr. Tillett leave, then block the door behind him? Something strange is going on here.
You got that right.
Sturdy-looking barrels, no doubt used to store ale. I suspect the barrels are empty, otherwise the locals would be rolling them into their cellars. I could tether a horse here if I had one. The post has been embellished with a fine bronze bust of a horse. I can't reach the window from down here. The window is well out of reach. A warm glow permeates from within, making me feel somewhat cold and damp.
Alright, hard to say, really. He's gone.
Last orders.
I should get some sleep. Finding the missing men of Bewley shall have to wait for tomorrow. Kenneth will be arriving tomorrow at midday. I should get some sleep.
Just a little more time in front of the fire.
A lovely place to warm oneself. The crackling fire.
How can I help you?
Have you seen Arthur Tillett?
I thought you were with you.
He went to the lavatory and has not returned.
That sounds like Arthur Tillett. Don't worry, lass. He'll be back.
Thanks for your time.
As you were.
Talk to this guy one more time. Alrighty then.
We'll be arriving.
Yeah. Let's go to bed.
Yes, I must get some sleep. I shall track down Mr. Shoulder tomorrow.
Miss Bateman,
Yes?
off to bed?
Yes. I'm afraid Mr. Shoulder's let me down.
The rotter. Perhaps he will make himself known tomorrow.
I should hope so. This is turning into a waste of my time.
Don't mind the locals, miss. It's just that we don't get a lot of visitors in Bewley.
Quite.
They mean well, believe me.
Sure, Mr. Kemp.
Please, call me Stanley.
Good night, Stanley.
Sleep well, Miss Bateman.
Why is her, like, blanket moving that much? Oh, shit. Cat opened the door. Oh, man, look at it. It's like hulking out. The first day. Adventus. Adventus.
Such horrid dreams.
But did she dream it? The door's closed.
Bolted from the inside, just as I left it last night.
Yeah?
As
Hard
I
to say.
suspected, I must have dreamt of that wretched-looking cat. I must say I'm relieved. Right then. Let's see if I can track down the elusive Leonard Shoulder. I'm rather anxious to get to this barrow. I also wonder what happened to Mr. Tillett.
Good morning, Miss Bateman.
Good day, Stanley.
Did you sleep well, Miss Bateman?
I should be polite. Tell the truth. I should tell him about that cat. No, don't tell him.
Yes, thank you, Stanley.
Splendid. I'm happy to report the rain of yesterday has lifted. It's a clear morning outside. Crisp. I've prepared a room for your assistant. What time will he be arriving?
His train will get in around midday. Kenneth will also be bringing my excavation equipment.
Oh, aye. What does that entail?
Picks, shovels, buckets, lighting and such. He usually packs it in a large crate. Come to think of it, I'll need somewhere to store it.
You're welcome to use the alley behind the inn for any such bulky items.
Yeah, I guess.
That sounds capital, thank you.
You're most welcome, Miss Bateman. We look after our guests here at the Plough and Furrow. I'll let you get on with your day.
I'll be back with my assistant when he arrives.
Miss Bateman,
Yes?
I've something I wish to get off my chest, as it were. I've been tossing and turning all night, Miss Bateman. I feel rotten, I really do.
What on earth are you talking about?
As you know, I like to run an honest establishment. And well, I have not been honest with you, lass. I do know of Hobbs Barrow.
You do?
I do. Many here do. There are stories tied to that place, you know. If I've learned anything in this life, it's that some stones are best left unturned. Old Leonard Shoulder is someone to be wary of too. I can't tell you what to do, lass, but you'd best avoid him.
Why lie to me about Hobbs Barrow?
I know, lass, I know. I feel dreadful.
But why? What are these stories you speak of?
I really can't tell you more. If you insist on visiting that place, you'll have to seek out Mr. Shoulder. He brought you here. He should be the one to tell you.
I must say, Mr. Kemp, this is all quite puzzling. I've never let local superstitions stop me in the past. I pride myself on being a woman of logic and reason. I've no time to waste on such matters.
As I say, seek out Mr. Shoulder. He can tell you more.
You just told me to avoid him.
Why must I be wary of Mr. Shoulder?
The man has a certain reputation.
For what?
You've seen it already. Were he here to meet you last night?
No.
Precisely. A man not to be trusted.
Okay.
Where is Hobbs Barrow?
I don't know. I say that on my mother's grave, Miss Bateman.
I now find that hard to believe.
The moors are vast, lass. I'd Ted not to go wandering out there. A grown man could lose himself and not be seen again.
Where does Mr. Shoulder live?
I can't say for sure. As I think I told you last night, he's a quiet man and keeps to himself. He only comes in here to collect his post. Leads me to believe he lives a fair distance away. Certainly not in the village itself.
Might someone around Bewley be able to help me find him?
You could ask around. As I say, lass, Bewley folk mean well. Don't forget that.
I shall return later.
Good day to you, lass. Oh, if you see Herbert around here, be sure not to feed him.
Herbert?
A local stray cat. He comes in now and then searching for scraps. I'm sick of cleaning his vomit off the floor.
Quite. I'll be sure not to feed him.
Thank you.
Well, we're certainly filling out all the tropes. Although...
Seems I may be fighting a battle against some sort of local superstition. Is there a single barrow in England that doesn't have some ghastly tale attached to it? Hogwash. All of it. I've a few hours until Kenneth arrives. I should use this time to find Mr. Shoulder.
You know, the locals seem nice enough.
Hello. My name is Thomasina, and you are...
Now then, that's none of your concern, love.
I stand corrected.
What do you do around here?
Hey up, you're not scared of sticking your neb in. I look after the churchyard. Dig the graves. Ha!
Okay.
What can you tell me about the church?
Aye, it's a church.
Quite. Do you know a man named Leonard Shoulder?
I don't know aught about no Leonard Shoulder.
What can you tell me about Hobbs Barrow?
Not to be found digging around in those things.
You know of local barrows, then?
Don't concern yourself.
Great.
What can you tell me about Bewley?
Not much around here, love. Not worth mentioning to you, like.
I see.
Fuck
Goodbye.
you. Fuck you.
These flowers look pretty. Someone must take good care of them.
Do a little poking about.
Hello.
Yes?
My name is Thomasina. What's yours?
Douglas?
It's a pleasure to meet you, Douglas. That's a great sword technique you have.
Thanks, miss. Mr. Crozier's gonna make me a real one when I turn 12. I'm preparing myself to fight the lantern worm.
What is the
Lambton.
lantern worm?
It's gonna come back and get us all. John Lambton thought he killed it at the River Ware, but my father told me it still lives. We must all be prepared.
The lantern worm isn't real, Douglas. Father just told you that to get you out of his hair.
Not true. I saw it slithering out by the beck, like a giant eel it were. I ran home so fast I thought I would fly.
Sorry, miss. My brother has a vivid imagination.
Children often do at his age.
I'll keep training. You will all thank me when I thrust my sword deep into its fat belly.
Douglas, this lady doesn't want to hear your nonsense.
I'm guessing that the Lambton worm is absolutely real.
Do you like living in Bewley?
Yeah, I do. Are you from the city?
I'm from a long way away.
You must have come on the train. I love watching all the steam puff up into the sky.
Have you been on the train yourself?
No, miss. Our parents don't have the money for train tickets. Father says we have all we need here in Bewley.
Perhaps this nice lady would like to take you away with her on the train.
No, I need to stay and protect Bewley from the lantern worm.
Do you know a man called Leonard Shoulder?
That's a funny name.
Have you heard of Hobbs Barrow?
What's that?
A local burial mound.
Our parents don't let us wander far from the village.
What's a burial mound?
Don't you mind about that, Douglas.
Who's Mr. Crozier?
He's a blacksmith. His forge is just over there on the other side of the square.
Don't you think 12 years of age is a little young for a real sword?
I'll be a master swordsman by then.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, miss.
Yeah, a real useful source of info.
My name is Thomasina. What's yours?
Betty,
Nice to meet you, Betty. What are you up to?
my brother is practicing his sword fighting technique. I'm to watch him until he tires himself out.
I'm tireless.
This time last month it were all about his teaspoon collection. This month it's swords.
Do you know a man named Leonard Shoulder?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
What do you know of Hobbs Barrow?
Our parents don't like us talking to strangers, miss.
So you know of it?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Goodbye.
Brilliant. So good and useful.
I don't think anyone is home. The door has been boarded up. The building looks like a ruin. No one here.
Isn't this a shop? Why is it not open?
I don't think anyone is home.
Yeah, no one is home. Maybe they're all at church.
The bucket is rusty and full of holes. This must belong to someone. I should leave it alone. Good day.
Yes?
Mr. Crozier, I presume.
Aye, George Crozier, at your service.
My name is Thomasina.
Aye, can I help you?
Are you a Bewley native, Mr. Crozier?
Aye, born and bred. That's where my father's forge before mine.
How is business faring?
I do an honest trade. There'll always be horses needing shoes and farmers needing tools. You let me know if you need out made or mended. I'll do you a fair price.
Thank you, Mr. Crozier. Do you know a man by the name of Leonard Shoulder?
Oh, aye. Old Leonard.
Have you seen him recently?
No, not recently.
Do you know where he lives?
Why all these questions, lass?
I need to speak with him. He invited me to Bewley.
Oh, he'll turn up. I've seen him in the plough and furrow from time to time.
But do you know where he lives? I need to find him.
I believe he lives somewhere out on the moors. Can't tell you out more than that.
Thank you, Mr. Crozier.
Wonder if that old guy we saw was actually Leonard.
Do you know of a local landmark named Hobbs Barrow?
There's a fair many barrows found out on the moors, lass. Too many to put a name to. Not a soul in Bewley pays them any mind.
What can you tell me about Bewley?
We don't get many visitors here, outside of market days. But there's plenty of work for the village blacksmith. Where are you from, then?
I arrived yesterday on the train from London, by way of Derby.
Oh, aye. I've heard about London.
What have you heard?
Plenty of factories there.
Yes, indeed. The city is always changing and moving forward.
Too busy for me, though, lass. I prefer a quieter pace. Aye.
When do market days run in Bewley?
Once or twice a month. The next one is tomorrow.
How delightful.
Unless your vice is cabbages, there'll be nought to interest a young lady.
I don't mind a cabbage.
Then you're in luck.
Thanks for your time.
Aye. Speak to you later.
Market days, yeah. I've seen that a couple times in like RPGs and stuff. like such a foreign concept to modern life.
Yes, it is not mine to take.
With like, you know,
The blacksmith is right
just
here.
buying stuff on Amazon and things like that. It's so wild. You'd have like a market day once a month where everyone would gather up to buy and sell shit.
Hello. Good day. Would you like to buy one of these cakes, pet?
I ain't got no money.
What kind of cakes do you have?
I have some lovely Bakewell puddings, the sweetest marriage of almond and jam. I can tell you're not from around here, because if you were, you would know about my Bakewell puddings. They are quite famous.
Alas, I'm not carrying any money with me.
That's unfortunate, pet. I'm sorry, I can't give them away for free. The money goes to the church, you see, and one cannot shirk one's duty to the church.
I understand. My name is Thomasina. What's yours?
Mrs. de Plancy.
A pleasure to meet you, Mrs. de Plancy.
Likewise, pet.
Pet. Oh boy.
Tell me about yourself, Mrs. de Plancy.
You don't hear that too often.
What would you possibly want to know about me?
I
I've been attending St. Edmund's Church my whole life. I always want to help where I can, so I sell my baked goods, and all the proceeds go to its upkeep. This place means so much to me.
Your cakes look delicious.
I can assure you they are. You'll not find better in the entire county.
What can you tell me about St. Edmund's Church?
Isn't it the finest building? It's been standing here since the 12th century. The box pews in the nave are very fine and date back to the 17th century. The door is open if you'd like to worship.
Thank you, Mrs. de Plancy. Do you know a local man called Leonard Shoulder?
Yes, I know Leonard. What business do you have with him?
It's a long story, but I'm trying to find where he lives.
I'm afraid I don't know, dear.
Damn, man.
Father Roach has access to the parish register. He might be able to help you.
Can you tell me
Can you
about it?
tell me about Father Roach?
He is a lovely man and an exemplary servant of the Lord. He's been the vicar of St. Edmund's for many years.
Okay.
Where can I find Father Roach?
At this time of day, he'll be taking his exercise in Herne Wood, to the west of the village.
Thank you. I'll go find him.
Be sure to listen out for his merry whistling. Such a jolly man.
Okay, he's definitely evil or something.
What do you know of Hobbs Barrow?
Hobbs what?
Hobbs Barrow, a local burial mound.
The only place of burial I know about and care for is in this very churchyard.
Thank you for your time.
Lord be with you.
Alright. I think we'll leave it off there for now. Mysteries abound here. You know, as usual with these kind of things, there's always a veneer of beauty and friendliness and things like that, but so much darkness lurking beneath the surface. Alright. For now, my name is Mangg. Game you're watching has been the excavation of Hobbs Barrow. I'll see you fine folks in the next part.